Alright guys, so today is probably going to be one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time because I have huge news for you. I just put it on my Instagram and directed people here, but if you're here and you're not following my Instagram, then you'll understand why. So, big news is I got accepted into SoulCycle's instructor training program and I'm so excited. I can't even tell you how I'm like so speechless, how happy I am, how excited I am, just incredibly, I truly don't have words. I'm so excited, I'm so happy, but also it's been a long time coming, but also I have been working my ass off for this for months, which I'm sure a lot of people on Instagram were picking up on as a lot of people were asking me about it. However, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you guys totally through my soul journey. So if you don't want to hear about it, obviously stop watching. But if you kind of want to hear about how I'm going to become an instructor, hopefully if all goes well, stick around because I'm going to explain everything to you. But one of the main things I want to say is if you have something that you know in your heart is what you want to do, you have something that you are so driven to do and that you just love, you can't stop thinking about it. If you have something that you want to do not stop until you make it a reality, because I am honestly living proof of that, and I'm very happy to say that because I did not give up after I was told no. And that really started showing me like the type of person that I am. And, you know, in a way, I am happy that I was rejected because it really did make me like a stronger person, and I trusted in the timing of everything and all that good stuff. So I'm so excited to walk you through it. People were actually asking me about my soul journey anyway, just because they're like new to SoulCycle, and they were like, so like what was your process like? So this could be an emotional video. I have been a wreck this week, not like in a bad way, like every time I've cried it's been happy, but everyone's like, why are you crying? Like, you should be so excited. I'm like, I'm so emotional. Like, I just can't. Anyways, alright, let's get started. Okay, so I guess I have to take you all the way back. My friend Ashley, love you to death. You are the reason I know what SoulCycle is. You are the reason that I took my first ever class, which was in October of 2015 when I met all my BBG friends in person. That was led by Sabine. She is fantastic. She is teaching in Long Island, and my first class was in Long Island. But to be honest, I had no idea what soul was then. We were basically late to class. It was kind of a shit show, and I love the music and I love the energy in the room, and that's pretty much all I remember because it was a really overwhelming day, period. And then, you know, there wasn't SoulCycle near me, so it didn't really cross my mind. I was really deep into BBG, and I was just like, all right, this is what I'm doing. So then, last July of 2016, I went to New York by myself, and I was doing different things. I was visiting different friends, and obviously I was like, I gotta go back to SoulCycle. And everyone's talking about this instructor named Tramel, who I now know he's been so fantastic for me on this like entire journey, and Tramel really is the one who made me fall in love with SoulCycle, because by then I knew what it was. And his class, I took his class with my other beautiful friend Casey. We took the East 63rd Friday morning class when I was there, and I swear to you, I'm not even kidding, my life was forever changed. I remember leaving that day because my train was later that day. I had so much fun. I will never forget. Tramel played So Sophisticated by Rick Ross as the opener. I looked at her and I was like, I'm in. Like, it was so amazing. But anyways, I remember going home and I was texting Casey and I was like, I feel so weird. Like, is this normal? Like, what's going on? And she was like, oh my God, you're on that post-soul high or whatever. And I was just like, no, like for real, I'm losing my mind. We actually took this video after class. I'm going to put it in here.
Team Tramel!
150,000%
life.
In love with Tramel.
Yeah.
And his class.
Yeah.
Totally on Team Tramel. After that, that was July, and I still came home and I was really bummed. I was like, man, like I wish I could take that class all the time. It was so fun, like so amazing. And I actually went back to New York in September of that year, and I was like, okay, and this is when I started my second year of teaching, and I was like, knew it wasn't for me, and I was like, okay, I know I don't want to be a personal trainer, and I was like, I know group fitness is my thing. So if I feel the same way I felt about SoulCycle this time around as I did the first time, because obviously the first time is very exciting, I'm going to really start thinking about it, which is crazy because I'd only taken like 2 classes technically. So I went back early September, took Tramel, E63rd, Friday morning. I honestly based my trip around being able to take his class. And Jara rode podium. She was, I think, about to start training or in training then. And it was like, I was exploding. I was like, I was probably a horrible rider. Like, everyone probably hated me in the room because I actually got a front row bike. Anyways, long story short, I felt the same exact way in that room. And I remember coming home and I told my boyfriend, I was like, I think I want to become a SoulCycle instructor. Yeah, I kid you not. Like, after that, like, call me crazy. Knew there was SoulCycle in DC, which, I mean, is crazy to me to drive over an hour to a 45-minute workout class. But I had friends who were living down there at the time, so I just kind of like looked up a few classes. I had no idea about the instructors or anything like that, and I went, and I was definitely enjoying them. I was always excited to be there, but I would leave, and there was just something about it that I was like, this isn't making me feel like Tramel's class felt. And I didn't know if that could be a thing or if it was just him and how special he is. But then I actually reached out to Tramel and I was like, yo, like, no one in DC is like you that I've taken so far. Like, is there anybody down here who has like a similar teaching style or like music vibe as you? Whatever. And he was like, oh my God, my boy Jonas is moving there next week. Like, you have to take him. So this was like early November when we talked. Of 2016. And I was like, okay, like, I'm in. Obviously, if Tramel's gonna tell me to take somebody, I'm gonna take them. So Jonas comes to town, and I mean, obviously, if you follow my Instagram, you know all about Jonas. He has changed my life. I can't even. Oh my God, like, there's something wrong with me. Get it together, Callie. Oh my God, if Jonas is watching this, he's like, get your shit together. Oh. So Jonas comes to DC. He moved to DC from New York. He was still a new instructor, got relocated to DC, which is the best thing ever for me. And I took his class, his Friday night 5:30 at Bethesda, and that became a weekly thing for me. I remember meeting him and I was like, hey, like, I know Tramel, and look at this picture of us when we met, and then I'll show you some pictures of us at the, like, now. It's just crazy to see how we both have grown, but what we love is that, like, he came down here and I pretty much started taking him immediately when he got here. So it's like this, it's like kind of weird and cliche, but it's like this like story that we were, or like this ride that we were kind of on together, like growing in DC, like growing in SoulCycle. So I think that's another reason that he's like always just been so like special to me and such a great, you know, mentor and leader and just like friend. And you know, after Jonas's first class, I was just like, I'm in, because he definitely reminded me of Tramel. He had that hip hop vibe. I immediately was hooked. So, you know, Jonas just became my dude. He was just what I was looking for, and I'm so grateful for him. So I just started riding with him every week since then. I only was riding once a week on Fridays because that's when I could get there. I'd say somebody asked me the first time that I rode in front row. So I guess technically the first time I rode in front row was that class with Tramel, but I didn't know what the heck was going on. So one day I was I already had a class booked, or a bike booked in Jonas's 5:30, and I saw that like the front row, like middle bike was wide open. And I texted Ashley and I was like, do I do it? She was like, yes, do it. So I booked Bike 6 and she was like, you'll never look back. And I honestly never stopped riding the front row since then, if I could help it, like if the class wasn't waitlisted, because it was just a totally different feeling. But I think everybody has like a different time that they're ready for that, or if they're never ready for that, or if they're a sidebar person. You just never know. Late November, I actually met Victoria for the first time because, weirdly enough, I was late to one of Jonas's classes, and I knew she was teaching at a close location at the later time. So I like booked it over there, took her class. She was amazing. One of my favorite things about Victoria was that I remember she asked who the new riders were in the room. and she went around and introduced herself to every single one of them and like made sure that they were okay. And I thought that was, and like asked their name. And you know, for me, somebody like being an outsider to her class and not knowing that she did that, I like really appreciated it. So I met her, and then that began like an awesome friendship, and she's been so great for me on this entire journey. So pretty much from that point on, I was riding with Jonas and Victoria when I could. Her schedule was really, really hard for me at the time. Fast forward to March. Now this is something that not a lot of people know about me and my soul journey, because I have kept it very quiet on Instagram. So Jonas and Victoria full on knew like that I wanted to become a SoulCycle instructor, and they supported me from the beginning, and I'm so grateful for that. They told me, they're like, oh, there's March auditions, and Victoria was like, what if they don't have them in the summer? And like, cause that's when I like planned to audition, was in the summer. She's like, what if they don't have them? Like, you need to get up there, like you need to like be in front of them, and just, if you get in, like we'll work it out. So I was like, oh shit, like, okay. Mind you, I had like less than 25 rides at this time. Like, yeah, call me crazy, but I was like, all right, I'm game. So turned in my stuff, got my audition. I was like losing my mind. I took off a day, like one day of school. It was on a Tuesday. Took the train up in the morning, auditioned, took the train home at night, and worked the next day. But the first audition was such... I hate to say it was like on a whim, but it was definitely like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, because I was like trusting in what everyone was telling me. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So I went, and it was a great experience. It was, I made it, like they've changed up auditions, so there's like a part 1 and a part 2, and I made it to part 2, which was fantastic. And I made a really great friend. Actually, I made 2 really great friends in that audition group that I'm still friends with. One just became an instructor, and one is doing other things, but she's killing it, so it's fine. And it was such a good experience, and I'm so glad I did it, because the next day I got my rejection email. However, they said that they wanted to talk to me about upcoming auditions. So this takes me to the time of my life where everybody was asking me, how are you affording all those SoulCycle classes? Like, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So I have had the amazing opportunity to be in the Soul R program, which means that I was a recruit. So after I went up there, after I auditioned, they were like, we see something in you. So they invested time in me, and I can't tell you how great that experience was for me. So from May to the end of July, I was in what you call Soul R, which means I was honestly working all day, and as soon as I finished work, I would head down to DC and I would take a class. And this was like probably 5 days a week. It was just such a great experience. I got to meet so many other instructors that I wasn't taking. I got to learn from so many other instructors. And I'm honestly so grateful for that, because it really like opened me up to the DC community. So, I get through Soul R and I'm feeling really good. The auditions for the summer were actually early August. So being in Soul R, I knew I was going to get an audition, which was awesome. And I went up to New York. I made a trip out of it. And there were so many people there. It was very different from my March audition. Very, very different. I auditioned and I thought it went well. I definitely, like, looking back now, I do feel off about it. There are things that I can't remember. There are things that I was like, oh, I wish I didn't do that. There are just things that just didn't fully feel right, but I felt like because I was in Soul R, they knew who I was. They knew kind of what I would bring. And I think it was just me being like, okay, like, I'm good. I'm a good rider. Like, everyone's been giving me great feedback. Like, I'm ready. So I go and I audition, and I'm feeling good. I remember, like, overthinking everything when I left. And then the next day, so I found out the very next day, I went to dinner with Cindy and Ashley, and I got back to my hotel that night. I was actually leaving the next afternoon. So this was a Thursday night, because auditions were on a Wednesday, and I was leaving that Friday. Oh, that Thursday night, I'm actually on the phone with my boyfriend, because I knew from the first time, I was like, oh, they emailed me, like, in the afternoon, like, no, but we'd love to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm on the phone with him, and it's, like, 10:30 at night, and I was like, oh, like, I was like, it's probably really good, like, I haven't gotten an email yet. And I was like, all right, whatever, like, I'm just gonna check it right now. So I'm, like, on the phone with him. Oh my God, I'm, like, having the worst flashbacks ever right now. And I see the email, and I could tell before I even open it, it's not good. And I can't even tell you, like, the heartbreak that I experienced in that moment. I was shocked, but I was just broken. I mean, I felt like somebody broke up with me. I really did. Like, out of the blue, I just started sobbing. I couldn't breathe. I mean, this sounds so dramatic, but I was, like, hyperventilating, and I know it's because I just wanted it so badly. Like, it's not like I'm, like, crazy overdramatic. Like, I was shocked, I was upset, and it was a horrible feeling. I can see myself now sitting on the couch of my room in that hotel, and just, like, him being silent on the phone, and he's just, like, not knowing what to say, and I'm just bawling, and, you know, so he's like, oh, like, do you want to come home tonight? I'm like, I literally will cry the whole way on the train. Like, I need to go to bed. Like, I need to go to sleep. And the worst part of it all is that I am, one, still in New York by myself, and two, I have a class booked in the morning. Like, what? So I had, once again, Tramel's Friday E63 class booked. And, you know, I was talking to Jonas that night, my really good friend Kimya, who's been there with me, like, through it all. You know, Ashley, my friend Jess. I was talking to a lot of people, and I was like, I don't know. I truly didn't know what to do. I could not, like, hang out all day in New York. Like, that would be awful. But I also was like, I don't know if my heart and mind can handle being in a SoulCycle room tomorrow. Next morning, Jonas was like, I really think you should go. Like, I think Tramel will help you. And Ashley told me the same thing. So I'm just, like, laying in bed. I literally woke up crying. Like, it was really dramatic, but I mean, that's how, like, heartbroken I was. Honestly made my mind up. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go. Like, I'm such a mess right now. Like, people will be like, what is wrong with that girl? Like, she looks like she's been crying all night, which I had. This is, like, so lame, but this is literally what I did. I closed my eyes, and I thought, do I still want to be a SoulCycle instructor? And I thought, who is gonna help me realize that? Tramel's truly the one who started it all. He's straight magic. I can't even express how fantastic he is as a leader and as an instructor. Like, he's such a good person. So, knowing what I knew about Tramel, taking his class and feeling what I felt, I laid there and I was like, Tramel is the one who's going to help me realize if I need to take a break or if I'm still going to do this. So I literally hopped out of bed, got my stuff on, tried to, like, cover up my, like, puffy eyes, and I, like, ran to E63rd. He actually was pre-warned that I didn't get into, like, to know to not bring it up to me. Class, oh my God. I remember it so vividly. I was in a front row bike, and the very first song, I remember the staff there did, like, a dance party or, like, dance, but whatever. They were just dancing to Tramel's amazing music, and as soon as we started moving, I was like, yeah, like, I belong here. I truly remember thinking, like, this is on them. Like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show them, like, this is where I belong. And then I was just in it. It was hard for me. I went through emotions through class. It was one of the first times I ever cried in class during his Soulful song, which was, like, which is still one of my favorites because of what it, like, means to me. Oh, but then after class, like, I went to say, like, thanks, and obviously he hugged me, and then I started, like, crying. It was freaking terrible. But he was so great in that moment. And then my friend Denny was there, and she was like, let me go get my camera and take a picture. And then she comes back, and I'm crying. She's like, what's wrong? And then obviously I had to tell her, but no one really knew. I mean, I think people had an idea on Instagram, like, why I was there. Something I really just wanted to keep to myself, because I'm the type of person that I'm super competitive. I'm very hard on myself, and I was like, I want to have this one thing for me, because I do share a lot on social media, and I was like, I want to have this one thing for me. I was talking to my friends about it, and I was like, what, like, should I say something on Instagram that I'm going to audition, or, like, that I'm trying this? And, like, some of them were like, one day you'll wake up and you'll just want to tell everybody. And then some of them were like, no, like, maybe play it safe and keep it to yourself, and then one of my friends was like, you just need to do your thing, keep it to yourself, and she's like, and when you get it, just drop the bomb. So, like, that's kind of, like, what I'm doing today, I guess, even though a lot of people, like, already had a feeling. So obviously things don't always work out the way that you think they're going to. And I learned a lot from that. And Jonas said, things would have been really easy for me if, let's say, I get into Soul R, school ends, I leave teaching, I go through the whole Soul R program, I audition, I get into the fall training, like that would have been easy, right? Yeah. Well, Jonas was like, well, now you have to work even harder at it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, it would have been nice if it was easy, but I think it also was better that it wasn't. As hard as that is to say, because man, that was a really rough time, but I quickly sucked it up and I was like, no, like this is what I want. This is what I want to do. And I know I belong there. I was like, I don't have people putting time and effort into me. I don't have people telling me like, this is what I should be doing. Like these are people from Soul if they truly didn't see it in me. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm in it. Like I love it that much. I'm in it. So, I was just really motivated to go back and be like, you know what? Like you could have chose me last time and you didn't, but I'm going to make you choose me this time. Like I'm going to be so good, or I am going to prove to you that I belong here. Fast forward again, I'm riding, not in Soul R or anything, just riding on my own. So I was actually talking with another company about potentially, coming on, and they're a fantastic company, great, all this good stuff. And I was talking about, joining their team but the day that I found out that they weren't going to move forward with me at that time, it was crazy. I found that out that morning. When I get home, SoulCycle announces their fall auditions, and I was like, what is happening in the universe? It was such a weird day. I remember talking to my friends. I was like, this is a sign. I sent in my stuff. I know they have certain rules about like when you can audition and stuff like that, so I was so nervous. I wasn't going to get an audition. I was really, really nervous. A couple or few weeks before auditions that I got an audition, so I was like, whew, like relieved. The auditions were at a different studio, and I was in a different group, so I was like, okay, new mojo, new place. Around that time, like when they were announced, was when I actually started like developing a like relationship with Kathleen. I am so, so, so grateful to her because she helped me so much. I should mention that before my August auditions, Natalia also was such a great help to me. I mean, everybody really, at least I felt, really wanted to see me succeed, and they were so supportive and so amazing, like throughout the entire process. Around that time, I just started developing a relationship with Kathleen. I wanted to start riding with her more. Like I knew she was amazing, fantastic. I heard all these great things about her, but I was rarely riding with her. And I was like, hey, like, I want to be an instructor. And she was just so supportive from the beginning. She was like, I can see you here, like, you would be such a great addition to this group, like, blah, blah, like, all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, you barely even know me. And it meant so much to me. She really just opened my eyes to the difference between being like a rider and being an instructor. She really helped me just get confidence and become not just a stronger rider, but she really helped me just understand the way an instructor sounds and all this, like, I don't know. So she helped me with my music, and I'm so grateful to her. But I went up and I was just like, you know what? I have nothing to lose right now, but everything to lose. That's kind of how I felt. And I went up and I was just like, I'm just going to own it. They know who I am. They've seen me before, but I'm just going to pretend that they don't. And I'm going to give them everything I have. I mean, I guess it went well. When it was my time to get on the podium, I was just like, you know what? Take a deep breath. You are used to standing in front of people and talking. You know, you're used to the pressure of being an athlete, and let's just do it. Like, and not only that, but like, let's just have fun. You know, the cool thing about auditions is that everybody in that room loves SoulCycle. You know, everybody in that room gets it. And that's super special, and that's really cool. Crazy town is what happens after this. If it's a no, I'm gonna get my email. I made the trip with my friend, and I was like, I'm not checking my email all weekend. It would have ruined my trip. I was so scared to check my email. I mean, as like cowardly as that makes me sound, I was terrified because of the feeling that I had back in August. Like I was not prepared. Monday, I was a psycho. I literally could not check my email. And Kimya, my friend, she actually worked in Bethesda, and now she works at the West End studio, but we became friends through Soul, and she's become one of my, like, best friends. She was like, open your email. I had to listen to Lose Yourself by Eminem 3 times before I could open my email. I opened my email, and I didn't have an email. And I immediately started crying. I was like, oh my God, like thinking in my head, like, oh, this is a good sign. Later that day, I did get an email saying like, congratulations, like you made it to round 2 for interviews. And I was really, really excited about that. And the interview was for later in that week. I had my interview, it went well. Almost a full week goes by and they reach out and they're like, actually, like we want to do one more interview with you, with somebody who wasn't there during auditions. That went well. I thought they told me like, oh, you'll hear by the end of the week or at the latest Monday. So this was last week. So, didn't hear Thursday. And Friday, I was like on pins and needles, like waiting for a phone call. Didn't get a phone call. I was like, God, I have to go through the whole weekend. Went through the whole weekend. And all day Monday, I am like, phone call, like when's it coming? Don't get a phone call all day Monday. And then I went to Seoul. I rode the 4:30 with Jonas in Bethesda. And I remember after class, I checked immediately, no missed call. And I was like, and then I started panicking. I was like, maybe this is bad. Like, I don't know. I was standing there with Kimya, like, should I just like check my email? She was like, just check it. So I'm just like standing there. I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to have an email. And I check my email and oh my God. It was congratulating me that, you know, offering me a position in the instructor training, and I lost my shit. I just was like, and I looked at her and she was like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Because like that face could be multiple things. She was like, what? And then I like showed her my phone and she was like, are you in? And then I was like, I think I nodded. Like that's when I actually blacked out. And then I started crying. Like I could not get it together. Like I was just like, ah! And then like some of the staff at Bethesda were like, what's going on? Because they knew like I was waiting. And then Kimmy's like, and they're like, go get Jonas. And then like they're like yelling for Jonas. And then he comes out and he's like, why are you crying? I was like, I don't know. Oh my God. And then he FaceTimed Tramel. Like it was just like so overwhelming. And I was just like, it did not feel real. But like oh my God, I'm like gonna cry thinking about it. Ugh. Oh my God, like what's wrong with me? I've been crying like all week, so it's just the way it goes. But oh my God, it was just like look at me, I'm like literally a mess. It was just like such a moment where all at once, like I realized like all my hard work, oh my God, get it together, Callie. It was just, oh God, it was like validation that all my hard work and like not giving up like paid off. Oh my God, get it together. Just like in that moment, I was like so overwhelmed with so many like emotions. Like she was like, you should be happy. I was like, I am. I was like, but why am I crying? She was like, because you care so much. And I was like, yeah. It's just like one of these things that for months and months and months I was, you know, working towards. And there were times where I was just like, is this not the right thing for me? Like, am I not seeing something that I should be seeing? Or, you know, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. But through all that, I was like, no, like this is where I belong. Like, I just felt it. Like I felt in my heart, I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. And, you know, it was just in that moment, I realized like all that hard work and like all of like literally like the blood, sweat, and tears. I don't think I bled, but anyways, maybe. But through all of that, just that I was right and that hard work pays off, and just that like if you have a dream, like if you have like, oh gosh, if you have something that you want so badly, no one can tell you no, and you just have to work and work and work and believe and trust in the timing that you're gonna make it happen. Like I'm like such a mess right now, but like I'm going into SoulCycle instructor training, which is literally a dream come true, and I could not be here without all of the amazing instructors, friends, and family who've supported me. I'm like, shit, woman, get yourself together. But like, this is like, I'm like happy tears, but I'm just like so emotional. Jesus. I think I'm just so emotional because it's just been like literally such a journey. Well, I probably look like a wreck right now. You know, everyone has their soul journey, but it's really been such a journey, and it's really tested me, and it's really, you know, made me stronger and taught me so many things about life and who I am as a person. And as like lame as it sounds, like I'm definitely like super proud of myself for like sticking with it and just like, you know, really knowing who I am. I am so sorry that I cannot get it together. I cannot just be like, woo, this is amazing. Like, I am like super like woo excited, but I'm also like super like, this is my life, like what's happening to me? Like, oh my god, people probably think I'm insane. Anyways, it has been quite a ride. Pun intended. I'm so excited for I'm like so excited. I cannot believe this is happening, and I can't thank everyone in my life who supported me through all of the ups and downs, because there have been plenty. And you know, I did want to say, while a lot of people could see that I was loving SoulCycle and going a lot and probably were like, oh, you should become an instructor, you know, it is something that I take very seriously. And you know, I just wanted to keep it to myself, and just like once I knew like it was it, like now you know, and now you can be along with me and be excited. And yes, I know that through my failure, or through my setbacks, let's call them, that I could have been relatable, or that you would have been inspired by me. Like, that's really, yes, I went back and forth with that a lot. I'm gonna do this again, and then when I share my story, and people can relate. And in a way, I am sorry that I didn't put it out there before to show you guys, you know, the ups and downs that I've been through with this. But there are a few things you can take away from that. It's either that, you know, now you can relate back to that and see that this hasn't been the easiest road for me, or you can respect the fact that I stayed super strong through it and then decided to share it later, you know? It was just one of those things that once I made up my mind, like, I'm not going to share this until I'm in. I'm going to become a SoulCycle instructor. What? Oh my god, I think that's the first time that came out of my mouth. Step 1 is getting into the program. Step 2 is actually making it through the program and graduating. So that's my next goal. And I cannot wait to take you guys on the journey with me. I have about 2 months until I go to New York for training. But thank you for listening if you stayed through that whole thing of my story. And just a huge, huge, huge thank you to everyone who's been with me on this crazy, crazy soul journey. And I think all of those people know exactly who they are. This is probably one of the things I'm like most proud of in my whole life. Shit, I'm gonna cry again. So just to wrap it all up, thank you guys so much for watching if you made it the whole way through. And you know, this is something I'm extremely proud of, I'm extremely excited about, and obviously emotional over as well. But I can't wait for all that is to come. Obviously my SoulCycle journey is not over yet, but this is what I have so far. I'm so excited to finally get it all out there in the open with everybody, and I hope you're excited for me. I don't know if anybody can be just as excited as I am, but I just wanted to say thanks for watching today's video. It means a lot to me. So I will see you for the next one. Bye.